I am Roland Neveu, and I'm a French photographer. We are here in Phnom Penh at the Meta House, where there will be an exhibition opening today, kind of base of my work from around 40 years ago. And here you get the prime, because nobody is here yet, you know.
I see there, it's announced 17th of April 1975, Fall of Phnom Penh.
Yes, and I shoot the Phnom Penh as well, because in fact this is all in relation with the book, which is just coming out, and there's two versions, one English version, which is kind of a repeat, because I published it six odd years ago as a soft cover. And this time I have expand and detail and add more picture, and also a French version. So all this to be seen starting today.
Great, fantastic. So how old were you when you came here in Phnom Penh on that period of time in April?
In fact, it was my second trip to Cambodia. I came in '73, during when I was a student. And in in 75, that was my just before my 25th birthday. And I had decided to kind of quit the university in a way of studying and get into the news business. So that was already my firm intention to cover the story and stay, around the region,
So it was the first time, your second time in
Cambodia,
in Cambodia. So and at the age of 24. So that's pretty young.
Well, considering, it's the same. The one thing is that if you don't get off university, you got to find, your way. So at the time, I found that that was probably better to try to get on the news trail, than staying in university, not really having anything specific to do,
Right. So let's have a quick, look through some of the pictures, some of the iconic pictures that you did. And then
the funny is that they are maybe iconic now, but when the story happened, it's okay. The picture went directly to the Gamma agency in Paris, but unfortunately, we were here held for about 3 weeks, at the French embassy, and while the rest of the world was moving, and also Vietnam, the Vietnam Saigon fell, which took the high ground for the news business. And we didn't get a big play on the Fall of Phnom Penh for the months after the story. So I get a better play on my picture now than 40 years ago.
Right. In those days, people were not so interested.
Well, people would have been the news was interesting in any way, but the Fall of Phnom Penh was the bigger show. If you remember, this is still the thing. Cambodia was always the second show, the side show, really. So even with the Fall of Phnom Penh in film, that was not really the main interest.
Yes, as it is still now a little bit.
Still now, anyway.
Against Bangkok or Saigon.
Well, anything. The only difference, regarding to my pictures, is that we are not so many to have this picture. So eventually there is always an interest which is building up because of the rarity of the images,
Right.
Okay, this is one of the image. Here, there had been a fight on the other side of the river, the Mekong, a little down, and the Navy, they brought back a bunch of dead bodies, from soldiers, and that called the family, to come and collect, the remains, and that was pretty gruesome. And there was, I think, about less than a week. I think that was less than a week before the fall, in a way. Just a couple of days before the American evacuation. And I didn't put so many dead bodies into the shore because, this is. We don't really need, too many, corpses. So but I wanted to make a point, so this is why I put this one as the first. But some of the picture, this is really more the daily life in Phnom Penh, in a way. Long queue for gas, for everything, bread and everything. People hanging around, that was old cinema, the Phnom Penh, out in Monivong, and a lot of people with nothing to do, and also hospital all over. In fact, this is not a proper hospital. I think that was a sports center which had been converted as a holding place hospital. So daily life in Phnom Penh was much more that kind of stuff, And that's also, not long before, maybe a little earlier in April, when we still could go across the river, the Tonle Sap, and see the palace, from the other side. Everything across the Tonle Sap and the Mekong had been bombed and razed and burned down, so there was not so much to see anymore. And this is another one of the kind of the life on the front, is not so happy over there. Families of army in town near the Olympic Stadium, and still some traffic in Phnom Penh.
Those tents?
This kind of the families of the soldiers were fighting around Phnom Penh, so they were make as a village refugee camp, around. But that was near the Olympic Stadium, so they were all around the Olympic Stadium were families of the military, of the soldiers. So they were living in pretty tense situation. And here, the ambience around Phnom Penh. That's an hospital in Takmao. This is the dike, which is out there on north of Phnom Penh on the way to Pochentong. Where we knew that the place anyway was crumbling, so I don't think there was not too much that they could do to contain.
This is on the road to the airport?
Yeah, this is a dike which is, I think, still there in Tuol Kok. North, that was the dike which was surrounding Tuol Kok. So this one, you probably know, that was at the time the landmark of Phnom Penh, in a way, unfinished.
That was
landmark,
the newest hotel.
Cambodian hotel, which was not open yet. And in the last days, that was, just in front of it, you had, what they call the fire base, with 105 recoilless, or the big guns, And it's funny because
they were like defense artillery.
Yeah, that was artillery, and in fact it was put here, so if the Khmer Rouge were firing rockets from across the Mekong, they couldn't reach them because they had to hit the hotel first. And maybe at the same time, firing from here, looping, over the building, they couldn't maybe be, spot, by the Khmer Rouge spotters, I don't know. But I didn't see them firing, so maybe, I don't know if they even fire.
So the Khmer Rouge were in consideration of the new hotel? They didn't want to destroy the new hotel? They had a kind of respect for the hotel? Or?
I have no idea on that. I don't know if they had any.
It just didn't happen?
Yeah, it didn't happen. Well, it's funny because with so many rockets in Phnom Penh at the time, it could have been. That was a refugee camp. There was, I don't know, probably thousands of people in that place as well. So that was one of the official refugee camp in town, which was managed by UNICEF and all the organization at the time, Red Cross and things like that. So here we got into the real end, in a sense, that this is the day the American evacuation, Eagle Pool, living out of a school zone, which is now the Russian embassy compound. And this was just on the back of the US embassy. And it's funny because, the Cambodians were not kind of alarmed, in a large way. They just kind of come on the side and, watch. as this guy pulling out, you know. But that was definitely the signal that that's it, you know, there was nothing else to do. And here we move to, you know, this is from now, the Manivong, right from the Royal Hotel. That's what it looked like in the last few days with the oil depot of Route 5 burning in the background.
So those tanks were provided by the Americans?
Well, that was part of the London Army you know, that had been used, but you know, there was no need in the field anymore, so they were like, everything was brought back to Phnom Penh, but I mean, was not so many defense value anyway, you know, there was not, didn't do anything. It probably more for a show than anything else, you know. And here we get into the evening, you know, before the fall. So this is the Manivong area, looking from, I have the French Calmette at my back, the Calmette Hospital, and looking down, going to the center. People were kind of retreating from the front line because, I mean, it was a little tense around the north of the city. And at night, I mean, literally thousands of people just moved back into town.
Okay, so they're moving into town in this picture.
Yeah, on this picture they're moving into town. It's not being used wrongly in a sense, and even if so, you know, you see, I mean, a soldier with a helmet and things like it doesn't look like the day after, you know, like on one picture at the end.
Yeah, it looks like the
it's a kind of well, people were quiet, you know, not panicked, but you know, they didn't want to sleep in firing zone, which is understandable. So that's morning on 17. This guy is.
What is he doing?
Well, it looks like he's running away back home.
He's stealing the guitar.
No, it's not. I don't think you would steal a guitar at the very end. You just keep your possession, you know. So you have your guitar and you bring it back with your gun.
This is not a Khmer Rouge soldier.
No, that's it's a London soldier.
Okay.
One of the last fighter I saw retreating from the front.
It's a great picture.
Yeah, I like it. And you still have the monument at the back, which is, you know, it was by the Japanese bridge, you know.
So you shot it in an instant. He ran by.
Yeah, that was at the time. I couldn't go very far. I mean, I had been in the embassy from at the night at the inside the French embassy, and in the morning, like hang around because I knew that was in the area where the guy would come into town anyway. So that was a good spot for that. And
this picture was used for some album, some CD, you told me some time ago?
The film from John Pirozzi on the Khmer music, you know. Okay. Cambodia had a very significant music influence back in the 60s. Yeah, back in the 60s, pre-war. You know, a lot of original sound. Kind of the Molan of Cambodia, some kind of thing. So John used that picture for the album. Yeah, war and music, you know.
War and music,
that's it, you know, typical.
Sex and war.
Yeah, not so much in Cambodia. None here. No, didn't.
No, maybe better not.
We were on film then, you know. We didn't record everything you see. So here we got into the day of the fall. I mean, that was definitely into the reality of the day.
So the Khmer Rouge soldiers are standing there?
Well, this guy just walked into town. You see, that's. I think this is around where was the British residence, the British ambassador residence for a while, not kind of away from Calmette. And I spot those guys, you know, they probably had been in town for maybe an hour or so. and with the kids around and things. I mean, they probably kind of cheer up because I was taking the picture. So hard to know. The one strange thing, it's a small scene, and I don't see another picture from somebody else, which is kind of make me wonder, was I the only one here at the time? I didn't ask them to pose, but...
Did you ever find anybody who would say in this picture that that's me?
No, not on the Fall. Maybe that will be an opportunity because the print are big enough, so maybe some people will walk here and see, oh, this is my father, my grandfather, or something like this. Who knows?
Yeah.
That'd be very interesting.
That'd be very interesting.
Yeah. On that picture, it's obvious that this guy were, communicating with the back. I mean, these are the front element of the Khmer Rouge, and they're certainly telling the story back to command posts or anything. And looking at the face, they're not here on a fun trip, because the kids are cheering up all around, but this guy looked, really stern and serious.
But you just said to me that if anybody would walk into this room and recognize itself and say,
yes,
hey.
So that's the other thing. So far, because the picture had been in the book already, I haven't got any mail, any message from a Cambodian, to say, oh, okay, we recognize those people or something like this. Yeah. But who knows? First, the book should be in Khmer, to be able to have it to go and spread and maybe give a chance to people to see something. But with this space open on the street and a bigger picture, maybe people will come and see. Yeah. When I get the bigger, some people we know they are dead for sure. But when we see like this Khmer Rouge portrait, this guy was young. He must have been like 18 or something like this. This guy could be alive,
Yeah, he looks very handsome.
And it looks really, that's a very typical Khmer, and he really have his krama pretty nicely, fit around his neck and all. And you can see he looks serious as well. In principle, there should be enough people out there who should be able to recognize, some of the maybe families or somebody who have known them or anything. So here we have two, I put two of those pictures down. This is one of the guy from that, Phnom Penh, the one who have been raising up at the last minute, from, I did not have a caption for these two. Huh? Miss.
You mean this guy?
No, these two pictures, we forgot to put. I forget the caption.
But this is a Lon soldier.
So no.
Khmer Rouge.
These are the guys. I forgot the what do you call? We call them this organization. Just a second. Where did I put it? Just the name. The name escaped my mind at the time. But they were linked with some son of a high-ranking government, and they kind of raised in Phnom Penh to meet the Khmer Rouge, in a sense. So we didn't know really, what they were. And the story goes that these guys, they kind of helped, in a sense, the Khmer Rouge to pacify, the city and to in the mind of the people to make it feel it's okay, but they were eliminated. Starting on the day. That's where the story goes.
They were eliminated by the Khmer Rouge?
By the Khmer Rouge, yes.
So they used them up and then they killed them?
Well, were they being used up or were they like opportunists? That's something else.
Yeah, like traitors. Or...
Yeah.
Wow.
So up there, you can see this is Cadre, this column of soldiers walking onto Monivong, and at the top is two high-ranking guys, I mean within the guerrilla forces. A commander and his radio. Nobody was able to put a name for me on that. There are not so many images around on the 17th, so in fact, because this is a date, so my picture are coming back, regularly. And even if you look at DC Cam, talking so many times with Yu Xiang, they don't have stuff from the 17th. Only very, very few that they could collect from the Khmer Rouge or things like this, but very, very little. So, which make me, see some value, historically into my stuff.
How many photographers were around?
We were a few. Beside myself, Al Rockoff, there was a few other guys working as there was a French photographer, which was a Sigma photographer, in fact, competition, Sylvain Julien, who, strange enough, several years after this, destroyed all these pictures back in France. And quit. He had quit journalism at all and destroyed all his images. I know some other people who never really came back. I had a friend, a young French photographer, I think he had just turned 20 or something. He never told me, but I assume that his film were taken on that day. Quite a few people got the gear and the film stolen by the Khmer Rouge. That's one of the things. So, which people don't mention so often. So, this guy was there working for a paper as a photographer, and he has no image nowhere on that. So that's it, disappear. I knew another French guy who was a teacher, but on that day he had, went out on the street, and I saw him with his camera, and his camera and film were taken.
They probably took the camera and the film.
Yeah, as well.
And his watch.
So yeah, In fact, Rockoff brought his film back, and some other people brought some pictures, and I kept my stuff. I was probably luckier than most of the people, and this is why it's here. But this is all like not even half a dozen roll of film, from the fall. Also, the thing that we had been searched back in the embassy, with Khmer Rouge and the French authority that to yell to the Khmer Rouge demand that we bring all the camera and film to them. So I gave blank film, that's, and I had kind of hidden all my stuff as well.
You gave black film?
Blank,
You exposed it?
No, I don't think this guy had a way to develop it right away anyway.
Right.
I think there was for the principle that they didn't want, they want to get the picture were taken on that day. So, yeah.
Did you ever meet with the Tuol Sleng photographer?
After? Yeah, back in the 90s, when this guy came.
I forgot his name.
Forgot. This is another story.
It's another story.
Yeah, is one pick from the, in the rank. To do a job, but it's not the same thing. And
so maybe let's go through some pictures.
Finish it up. That. So that was okay. One of the series of image I have that you can see on that. I put 3 parts of the film. Like what we call the contact film, so people can see, in fact, that the picture taken from not so many roll of film. So this is on going down Monivong on a convoy, like this one. Because this is what I did. I got on a truck because we could walk all the way, but I thought, okay, go on a truck with some of those guys and go down on Monivong, and that gave me another perspective on the day.
Those guys were Khmer Rouge, or?
Well, I think there was a mix of Khmer Rouge and a mix of those, insiders. The one who have been like rallying at the last minute.
Right.
So that was the one thing, got into high view, so that gave me some other shot. And after that, basically came back around one strategic area of town, which is the crossroad of Monivong and Sihanouk, now Boulevard. Huh? And what's happened, I hang around that spot for some time after that because it feels safer. So, and they were bringing the guns, bringing like the guns and everything. So I got a few scenes around that area, and I didn't feel that it was good to move into the side street because you couldn't know what was going on. There's no way. And there was not. It's funny because there was very few other reporters. I mean, I saw a couple of times some Cambodian reporter. I don't know if you see any on that picture yet. That's the Cambodian reporter here. It's a big area, so I felt that it was much better to hang around there. And by early afternoon, you knew that things were changing. They already had asked people to leave the city, so they'd say that the American would bomb the city and etc. So you could feel that the thing was not as clear as it seems in the morning. And frankly, those guys, they see us taking picture. I mean, sometimes I think that in such a situation, you have to be thinking that these guys may be thinking, what is the hell is this guy taking picture of me for, Better shut him before he goes away. And in fact, when I got that guy, I mean, in the early afternoon, I thought, well, it may be one frame, huh? Didn't take 2 shots. It's just put your camera on your eyes, one frame, and this guy is not going to let you hang around for so long. And in fact, it's after that I decide, okay, I probably better go back to the safer area, which was I knew around the French embassy because we had an open invitation to stay into the embassy, compound. So really, I mean, I think that it was around 2 o'clock or something. I say, okay, it's probably a good thing to. You got some film, you have something, maybe now just put it into a safe place before seeing what's happening. And this may be one of the reasons why I also kept my film,
So you really have to work within your instinct, huh?
Absolutely. It's 100% on something like this, there's nothing else, whatever is maybe helping, but your instinct is going to be the key, that's what's going to make you stay alive, survive, or just come down, And also, no transport, nothing. But you cannot walk around all day. I mean, without knowing what's happening, because we had no information on the other stuff going on in the city.
Were you by yourself, or you were with somebody?
Yeah, I was. We start with some guys, but then I walk by myself. You don't want to hang. I mean, this is maybe good to stay as a pack, huh? But if you also want, to do the story and the thing is, you're better off on your own, and keep it.
Yeah, you're still competition, right?
Well, it's not that. I mean, I think the sentiment of safety. I know now most places when it's dangerous, you hang around a few people on the same kind, so you know that if anything goes wrong, you have some people to help you. If you go wild and you are alone and something goes wrong, you can dream about, being safe, that's another story. So here, okay, that was yeah. You see, in fact, this was the last shot I took in that crossroad from Monivong and saying the next shot is the French embassy, the gate at the French embassy. At this time, I decided to tuck my camera in my bag you know, put the film in my pockets or everything and walk, walk really without looking at anything. Go back to that's a long walk. I mean, if you remember now, in the same time of the year, going from Sihanouk Boulevard to the French Embassy, I mean, that's and not in a safe environment at all, as well.
So you shot everything on film in those days, of course?
Black and white. I mean,
black and white.
Mostly plus X because I didn't have any more tracks, and I finished one roll of film at the beginning, the few color film. I did finish one roll of Ektachrome that I had in one of my two cameras.
So why did you shoot on Ektachrome?
Because that was my last roll of film, so that's it. You know, I had to finish it. You know, at the time you don't, finish your roll of film just to change. You know, you got to use every frame. You know,
and you shot it on you. How many cameras did you use?
One Nikon, one Nikormat. You know, so the Nikormat has a meter, so I was using the color film into the Nikormat.
Okay.
And shooting the black and white into the Nikon F.
And what kind of lens did you use?
Okay, I had 3 lenses. My key lens was a 24mm f2.8. I had another 200 f4, the old one, pretty good. And I had a small zoom, which is, it was convenient at the time. There was a beginning of zoom, 43 to 86. That was kind of odd, but didn't open very much. But that was kind of convenient, sometimes.
Yeah, because as a photojournalist, you have to be adaptive. You have to be quick.
Yeah, but you also do with your mean. I was a young guy. I didn't have so many cameras. I mean, some of the guys around had better gear. I mean, of course, So I was already lucky to have a Nikon in my hand. That's it.
But the better gear doesn't necessarily mean that you get better photographs.
That's what is being said, but it's not completely true. I mean, if you have access to better gear, you with some knowledge, you can use it in a way which make you stand out. Always,
But then,
there is always a.
Yeah, but you just said you have to have that feeling of survival instinct.
Yeah, as well. I mean, you can have all the gear you want in the world, all the top gear, but if you cannot survive or see things into that environment, you're not going to go far by any means. And it is more important. I mean, anyone on today's any given story today, you can be shooting something like this with your iPhone and do pretty good. You don't need to have Leica M or anything. It's the situation and what your ability to get into the situation.
So since you did a lot of work in your career and other conflict zones.
Yeah, that was pretty much almost the first conflict zone. So there was a lot more to come after that. Yeah.
So why is this more special to you than other ones, or is there a reason why this is such a?
It is not really so. It is. I mean, it is special to me because it's definitely my first big story. It was my first break, in a sense. From that time, okay, I could, my picture was distributed by Gamma agency in Paris, so I could, you could say, okay, you're not, you're young, but you already get something, under your belt, as they say. And, but, there was so many other stories after that. With the time, now, what makes it special is that we are not many to have these images. This is it. Gravity there is a key. If there was, for like everything, I mean, I cover Lebanon and Central America with a lot of people have a lot of stuff, and some of the better picture we are many to have it, but in this case, no. So because of that, it does become special. You can I can stand out into a small crowd, with some unique archive.
So tonight you have the opening of the show here in Phnom Penh.
Yeah, that's
very special. So it's full circle.
Well, I've done, you know, the first time I hang the picture on the wall in Phnom Penh was in 2000, when I had another book, which was like much wider in scope, you know, with the war and the refugees and everything. So, and that was at the FCC. So, at the time there was not so many shows and everything. Now, okay, I'm settling in more into a routine. It's a 40th year on kind of the story, so it has some interest, you know, to remind, you know, to bring back the story and to exhibit. And the Meta House is a pretty good place because people are not afraid to walk into the Meta House, you know. Right. You get a lot. I think in Phnom Penh we get a higher number of Cambodians, you know, to come and see the exhibition here. I mean, more than in some galleries or things like this.
So you think tonight there will be enough Cambodian people as well?
You know, the opening night is very often a Phalang, foreigners kind of thing. Huh? Yeah. But there is a good following here on Cambodian.
And what about the Bopana Center? Did you do anything with them?
No. Well, they don't have a space, I mean, which is so specific, you know, to put up an exhibition. I mean, I would like this to be in a much larger, I mean, space and with more means, you know. But for Phnom Penh, it's not bad.
Okay.
Bring out here, yes.
If you walk to me.
Left or right?
Go that way.